There are ways to take your most awful, painful memories and remove all the emotional charge in them. Remove the pain that they bring up. Remove the fury that they bring up. Remove the upset and frustration that those horrible memories bring up. And you can take that memory and totally neutralize it, or believe it or not, even make you laugh. I'll tell you how in a moment. Hi, trauma healers, it's Lev. I shoot these videos to help people overcome their trauma. I spend years doing that. I want to speed up time for you so you can go from coping to thriving and make the rest of your life the best of your life. So I'll tell you one way that these techniques have worked for me. When I was growing up, my father, he had borderline personality disorder. Any minor thing or even nothing could totally set him off and make him just go ballistic. So for an example, a typical thing that would happen, little kids are stumbly and uncoordinated. I was no different. I would spill something and he would fly off the handle and start screaming at me, saying things like, "You don't expect anything, you never pay attention. Just, you are a bad kid, why can't you be like so-and-so's kid?" And so, obviously that was traumatic for me. It even to the point where there were times in my early adulthood where I would spill something and I would almost have a panic attack because there were literally hundreds, if not even thousands of times that I got screamed at just for little things like spilling. So, obviously a painful memory. Have you had a memory like that? Have you had a parent who would fly off the handle at you, berate you, belittle you, scream at you for valid or invalid things or anything in between? But did you have that happen to you? If you did, of course you can relate. And look, this technique can apply to any painful memory. That's my one that I wanted to tell you about. And hopefully that didn't happen to you, but if you're watching these videos, it probably did. So, how do we take out the negative charge, the emotional pain from having that memory? Because here's what would happen to me. I would just be driving my car. All of a sudden, I would hear screaming in my ear. A replay of one of the thousands of times that my dad screamed at me. And what would happen is I would either get enraged or upset or stressed out. And do you think it raised or lowered my anxiety? Obviously, it would raise my anxiety through the roof. Have you had that happen to you? You're remembering a parent yelling at you and it's causing you all kinds of internal turmoil. Or you know what people often mistake is sometimes the voice that you'll hear berating you is your own voice, and you mistake it for yourself, but it's not you. It's that parent from your childhood or caretaker who is screaming at you and berating you. And it's actually, our ego plays a funny trick to make us think it's our own voice. It's not your voice. That was programmed improperly into your head. And so I'm going to teach you how to take that program and basically put a virus into that program to make it stop having a negative impact in your life. So how do we do that? There's multiple ways. The first couple of ways that I'm going to tell you about, I read and found out from a book called Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. You should check it out. Great book. And what he talked about is oftentimes it's not just the audio. We have images attached to memories. Like you can have you can see still images or you can see almost movie-like images when you have a memory together with the audio. So what do you do with those images to make them have less of an impact on you? Because I'm more auditory and kinesthetic, meaning that my memories are more hearing and feeling, but I also have images as well. And there are times where I would see my dad's angry face and stuff like that. So most people are actually visual. So let's talk about how you lower the impact of visual memories. So there are several ways. First, if the image or the scene is close, push it far away in your mind. If it feels hot, cool it down. If it feels cold, warm it up. If it feels wet, make it dry. If it feels dry, make it more wet. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. And even memories, to a certain extent, are imagination because it's not happening now. And our memories are not 100%. It's just how our minds have interpreted those memories, and they keep being replayed over and over again. So that's one way. Here's another way. Turn the image into a cartoon. The silliest cartoon you can imagine, and play, totally silly, ridiculous cartoon music in the background, like Looney Tunes type music, or SpongeBob, or whatever you want, but cartoon music, which tends to be really silly. Play that music in the background, turn the image into a cartoon, and then what you do is you fast forward and rewind, fast forward and rewind. Change it from color to black and white. Push it away. Now, all these techniques, they take practice, but the more you do it, it's amazing. Like, the emotional charge and effect of the memory starts to go down and down and down, lower and lower and lower. And so, if, for example, if the memory is loud, obviously if you're hearing yelling in your ear, quiet it down. And the other thing that you can do is associate it with something silly. So in my dad's situation, when he would scream and rant like a lunatic, I watched South Park. So what I did was I tied my dad's rants into Cartman's rants. So him screaming and going crazy, I would just imagine it's Cartman doing it. You know what I mean? Like saying things like, you never do anything right. You're always silly. So, as you can tell, it's kind of goofy. And I started to transfer and transform my dad's yelling into a silly, fat cartoon character who, flies off the handle as well, but in a funny way. Here's another technique that I came up with on my own. I haven't read it anywhere, and it works amazing. What I started doing is I'm good at impressions, so I would do little rants that my dad would do, but in a comic way, with like a smile on my face, and I would do it like with my dog or just with friends. And like they obviously know I was joking. My dog knows I love him. So he would just be wagging his tail and flopping around and just didn't care, thought it was funny. Recently had to put him down, just got a new puppy, but my old dog's name was Teddy, and so I would just say things to him like, Teddy, you are always wagging your tail, and you are never wagging your tail, and you are always hungry, and you always want to drink and eat everything. And so as you can see, it's just silly, and it would make me laugh. And it got to the point that even when I would hear kind of my dad yelling in my ear, I would start to chuckle because I would associate it with Cartman, and I would associate it with just messing around with my dog, who's just, panting and smiling and wagging his tail, and thought it was funny. And so try that technique. I would also do it with my friends and be like, you're always wanting to come over. You always want to hang out and have fun. And they could see it's just ridiculous, so they would laugh. Then I would laugh. And so, look, you can't control what happened to you back then, but you can control what happens now. And you need to grab the bull by the horns. And you don't have to let these memories destroy your life. You can decide, this is my life, I control my life, and I am going to control these memories. And again, the way you control them is, like I said, push the image away, make it black and white, make it a cartoon, fast forward, rewind, and also turn it into a joke. It's the ultimate reframe. Why not laugh about it? In the past, it made you cry. Now you can choose to laugh. Now, I know some Some memories are so traumatic that it's not really a laughing matter. So it does depend on the memory. But even if it's something not like your parent ranting at you, something way more serious like death at war, or something horrible like being raped, you can still use those other techniques. Like I said, turning it into a cartoon, black and white, fast forward, rewind, pushing it away, things like that, making it really, really small. Like, all those techniques will help remove the emotional charge out of those memories. And there's other techniques as well, like EMDR. That didn't work that well for me, but I've had some friends who had amazing results with that. So that's another avenue to look at. So give these techniques a shot. I know they can work for you with practice. You just got to be patient with yourself. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some practice, but make it a routine that anytime you get that painful memory, anytime it comes up, you use that as an opportunity to try these techniques. And over time, they will definitely help you with negative memories. So until next time, love you all.